Okay, I think we're on the air. I'm going to see about we're about 20 seconds behind, and I'm pretty sure the sound's okay. RP will tell me if the sound's okay. How's your sound, Joey?
Oh, good. I can hear you fine. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. So we see you seem to have sim problems this week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got a friend that's about 20 years older than me, and I feel like he's the one that should be teaching me about life, and
right. That's
it's the other way around.
it's kind of
Unfortunately.
common. You older, mature. You learn. You should be wise. You should have some wisdom in your old age, and well, that doesn't happen nowadays. I tell the story all the time about the 74-year-old guy who's sitting at the bar crying. He was on his third house, his third woman, his third. He was crying because he didn't have someone to cling on to and hug and give cuddles to. It just made me so mad. I smashed my cup in my hand, and then the barmaid kicked me out of the bar. I was like, God, it's sometimes it gets at a certain after 40. It's just grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
But it happens, and it happens more than we like it to happen nowadays, and it's a problem. So you have to be the adult in the situation, huh?
Yeah, it took him almost half a decade to kind of come to that conclusion that it was time to move on. He finally broke up with her, and under a lot of stress, and
Yeah, that's usually what it is, under a lot of stress now, and a lot of things are happening around them.
yeah.
Yeah, and like always, it affected you, didn't it?
Yeah, because it's almost like I was ready to give up on him as a friend, and I've known him for 25 years, and it's kind of hard to throw away a friendship that's 25
Yeah.
years, but that's not that point, though.
Yeah. I guess the topic today is more about, we have friends. We all have friends out there, and I have friends, and most of them are simps. And you're going to have to deal with simps and all their ludicrous behavior. But at a certain point, harm reduction and simps, it kind of doesn't blend, does it? They're going to harm you eventually. They're going to put her first in business situations, friendship situations too. When you thought, oh, we've been friends, and it's always the girl or the new girl, or even in my situation, I noticed this with two of my friends, and I don't keep a whole lot of friends, but both of them at one point were just one of them was in a Kmart, and this woman was after me, I guess, and she started talking, and he thought she was getting close to him, and then after she left, I was trying to get away. I was just trying to move along and everything, and he says to me, "Well, you're kind of cock blocking me there." And I was like, "What?" And then another friend did that to me. I was sitting at a bar, and he was another friend. He was talking, and then she was desperately trying to get away from him, so she sat next to me, and then he accused me of like coming onto her or something. And it was like it was almost strife at that point. It was like, what? Come on, man. It's like, but you can feel the tension. The simp, he creates tension in those situations, and that's what we can expect.
I had something like that happen. I was in a sauna. This is like 15 years ago. I was in a sauna, and like me, this older Asian lady, some like 30 years old, whatever, and
Yeah.
this Asian lady had to be like 60. This other guy was about probably 50.
Yeah.
We were all just talking, laughing and talking.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting on this freaking lady. She looks like a freaking, whatever.
She looks like me. She's probably got more like hair.
This gets kind of good. So I'm in there for maybe 15 minutes, and so I go in the pool. No attraction to this Asian woman at all. I'm just talking to her. We're talking, shooting the shit. We're all laughing.
Yeah,
so the guy comes up to me, and I won't say his race. It really doesn't matter, but whatever. He's a little different race than me. Whatever. No big deal. So he goes, "Hey man," he goes, Why are you butting in my conversation with that woman?" I looked him straight in the eye. I said, "What are you talking about, man?" I said, "We were all just talking." I said, we're all just talking. We're all just shooting the shit. We're talking. I said, I don't know why you're taking it that way. So, but anyway, if you want to do anything, I'll be right in this pool here. So if you want me to get out or you want to do something, I said, we can do that. We can arrange that.
Give you the room.
I looked him straight in the eye because he was a big dude, but back then I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Game and like, and then I got all that rage because I was not intending to jump in on the conversation. But the main point of the story here is not so much how I handled it, is that now in the future when I don't put myself in those situations. That's harm reduction. If I'm in a sauna and that situation with a guy like that, I'm leaving. There's nothing. I'm not going to talk to nobody. I'm just walking out. Yeah, and that's it. That's how you handle those situations.
Yeah, don't find it like weird that the simps will put us in situations where we have to veer from normal. Normally, I walk into a store, I walk into somewhere, and I don't care what genders people are. I just talk to people like they're normal. We try to laugh, try to have a good time. Whatever we're doing, I'm very easygoing on everything. And then you get accused of stuff like that from the simp. He's obviously objectifying her, and he's obviously already considered that that's mine because he is objectifying her. And then he sees any other male that would come around, even if she's having a delightful time with somebody else, he would consider that a threat. And it's just, man, sometimes men are effed up. And we hear it from the feminists. And then, well, you know what I always say, just don't be what they say you are. And these men continue to be what they say they are. And that's why we do the deep introspection, and Mgtow, we look at ourselves, we see how we act. We stopped acting like that. We stopped acting like the simps, but it just comes to you, and anywhere you're at, this could potentially bring harm to you.
And that's a common situation where you have two men and a woman, right? And then so they're thinking that you're a simp like them. They think that we think like them, right?
Yeah, like think you're after it, or you must be because he finds it. Yeah, how ridiculous, how absurd is that? You must be after it because he finds it attractive.
Right, exactly. And that's why I don't go to bars anymore. I don't drink. It's been like over a decade now. I don't go to bars. I don't drink. I don't put myself in those positions. I don't lounge around in casinos. I don't even really play any poker. I used to play a lot of poker. I don't even really like playing. People are just like crazy, and you got all these simps around, but yeah. So that's through life experience that you pick up on these things, and it happens a lot. It happens a lot. So
and it happens outside of that too. You always, a man and his perceived woman, he owns her, and he walks into a restaurant or a bar or something, and you end up in a seat next to him on a bar stool waiting for your dinner table to come up, and he's already like, hey man, you're sitting kind of close to my woman. It's like, you trying to hit on her, and it's like, no, shut the fuck up, yeah. Men are jealous and petty sometimes, and that's the things we say, hey, when you come into Mgtow, you gotta look for them things in yourself, because most men are that way, especially religious men. There's PUAs, religious men, and some men are just dogs, and they smell a scent of a woman and they go nuts.
Yeah. It's it's just part of that harm reduction and understanding that the world we live in. And I mean, I had a situation at the sports book where the kiosk went down. And the printer went down, so we had to call the sportsbook lady, and so I was just talking to her. And next, we're just talking about the COVID and whatever, and because I just moved back to town here, and like, so she, she starts like talking about her husband and how, like, what do you like? We're just talking. I'm not. You think she thinks? I think she thought I was hitting on her.
Yeah,
I'm hitting on you. I'm just having a conversation. You can't even have a conversation with a woman. Like, you can't even do that. They think you're hitting on her.
Yeah, just be normal.
But that wasn't the point. I wasn't hitting on her. I was just talking to her. So I'm at the point now I can't even do that.
Yeah, we can't do that either because normal is considered abnormal now. And it's like, What would you think a normal situation is when you walk into a place? Everybody just kind of normally talks to each other, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no hidden messages, and there's no like behind the scenes things going on and everything. But that's when the people that do the ritualized mating and everything, they start drawing up these little things that can go on behind the scenes of the mind, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what gets I can't read people's minds. And
Yeah.
especially, women like that, I told you the story once about the TV set. We're watching the TV set, and she sat down in front of the TV set, and it's like, you guys are looking at me. It's not watching the fucking
Yeah.
TV set, lady. Move out of our way.
Yeah, yeah. That was a video you did about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, like line of view or
Yeah, the
something.
line of sight. If you even get in their line of sight, it's all automatically, you're objectified. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to watch a freaking TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, what a culture we live in, huh? Holy shit, man.
Yeah, what a culture we live in. And man, it seems to come from all sides. I mean, even really, and when it comes from a really unattractive woman or an unattractive couple, and you just start grinning, like, really? You want to say something cruel, but then you catch your Mgtow self and you go, okay, I need to exit this situation. But we have to act abnormal. We have to be more guarded. We have to observe what's going on everywhere. Be much more vigilant about what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even more so as you get older, it starts right away, but as you get older, men especially as a MGTOW, you're going to accumulate more resources, perhaps, or
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and then so you're more of a target. You're more of a target as you get older, and I think it's sometimes easy to let your guard down, but you can't do that.
Right. Yeah. About 40, 40, 45 up to 50, you're going to get it as a male, you're going to get at your most attractive state. You're going to get the little gray patches, and women love that stuff. And you're going to have to deal with it more. And, it's just, it gets, I'm so glad that I just grew this out and present myself as somebody that's like unobtainable.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with the beard, yeah, and I had a good beard going, not as good as yours, but I had a good 3, 4 month thing going, and I
Yeah.
closed it off because I'm interviewing and stuff, and kind of stuff. But it does protect you, I think. Well, not well, you know what I mean. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's women that are attracted to that, but yeah, you got to find ways to. Like I usually wear a baseball cap, whatever. You got to find ways to kind of.
Yeah, we used to talk all the time about how we dress, and we have to manage how we dress. Usually a Carhartt jacket, even the Carhartt jacket signals working guy, and you try to find ways to just be like invisible in society, so you don't have to deal with it. And what we're dealing with our asexuality, and
Yeah.
and I put up that article a few times. I like to at least once a year put up that article about people that act in asexual ways. They get it from both sides, so it's a double hit on them, and they get sexually harassed on one end, and then they have to deal with all this other emotions from the Christians and the daters and the maters and the breeders and the simps and the white knights and all those people. I mean, you have to deal with all that. We're actually the most we get violated like almost every day if you think about it. Every time you walk in and you see someone talking about sex or doing that, and it's like it's a violation of our space. And on the other end, we have to deal with situations like they drag us into, like these situations we were talking about, where you're just a victim of being somewhere or and at some place at a certain time. And it gets old. It really does.
Yeah, that's why you got to be aware of your surroundings, and then
always be
just
aware.
avoid those situations. Yeah, avoid those situations. Like I'm not gonna be a third wheel on a date or stuff like that. Or no, screw that. No, I'm not putting myself in that spot.
No, I am. Getting Uber on my phone was the best thing I ever did, and now I don't have to. If I do go out with a friend, and it's like, okay, if he meets a girl, and I've had this happen where he met a girl, and left me to walk home.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's like, wow, dude. It's like Uber, come get me. Here's where I need to go. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, you always got, and that's part of harm reduction. It's just, okay, if this happens, I'm prepared. Always make sure you're prepared to come. That you got an auxiliary ride home. If something silly starts going off, you can exit quickly and stuff like that. You shouldn't have to think about things like that, but we do. I mean, we get put in harm's way by the simps.
I had a simp family member who used to do that. Like he would, if he'd pick us up to, this is like 20 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
I was going out a lot.
We'd all get in the same car.
I was in my 20s. Yeah, I was in my early 20s.
Like, who's driving,
Yeah, he was the one that was driving, and I just picked up on it. Whenever he was driving, he didn't give a shit about anybody else. It's just he's going where he wants to go. Yeah. He's staying there as long as he wants to stay. And I finally just got fed up with it, and I never got in the car with him in control of the car ever again.
Yeah, usually you kind of get a guy that we know. We used to do this thing where we do the street runs, and we drive like 5-10 miles down the street, probably a busy street, and we tried to hit every bar and see what every place had, and then come back. And it was just kind of a natural thing to do. We wanted to see and meet everybody at every place on that street, and yeah, you can't have a guy like that. Like, I like it here because there's a broad here. It's like, no, this screws up our plans. We're doing the run today.
But it's true. These women just destroy relationships. They destroy so much, like the dynamics between, I had like a 25-year friendship here. I was about to lose it pretty much, and whatever.
Yeah, you said it did harm you financially, and it's really sad that and he can't control his woman. I don't know what's going on, and he probably shouldn't talk about it on there, about not being able to control your woman, or he's leaving, she's giving him strife, and that's probably the reason you're going for emotional support for him. And and then all of a sudden you're the third wheel, and there's this argument, and people, and it goes back to my closure. When you're leaving a relationship, and I've been in and out of a lot of relationships when I was younger, you have to get closure on that relationship, and that means you have to leave on your terms. And unless he does that, he's always going to be thinking about her, and then you're going to have to go through that. My buddy tells me a story all the time about him and his woman, and they break up, and he was always thinking about it. He didn't get closure on it, and then he was always doing stupid things, and then one morning he wakes up and she's in bed with him, and she's like, "I'm moving in." And he's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah. Well, in that situation, you're better off just moving out. If she doesn't want to move, just move out, and then just make your.
Yeah, it was his house. It was like,
just call the police. Whatever.
You got to go. You got to go. This is the bachelor house.
Yeah.
It's like, but
I got a woman living in my house. I can't get rid of her. Well, I guess you don't have to move out. You can just call get her out of there. Get her restraining order. Get her out of there. You cannot put yourself at risk.
Yeah,
you can't put yourself at risk.
Yeah. Anytime you bring a friend in the house, he might move in a woman on a moment's notice. He met her in the bar, and all of a sudden she's living in your house, and he expects you. That's what I call for paying for somebody else's. You know the word. Paying for somebody else's B, and all of a sudden he expects you to pay for that, and it's like that's the code that code that men have when they're all simping together, and they don't understand how unnatural that is for the rest of us.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's actually dangerous. Being around simps is dangerous, man.
Simps are. We always say that they can explode. They're angry. There's IUD simps. Is it IDU or I can't remember which one it is. That's intermittent explosive disorder, IUD.
You mean an emo? Is that emo or no? Is it
emos do it. Young guys are just, if they're with a girlfriend or something, you run into the TV line of sight thing, and all of a sudden you looking at my girl, and then he's exploding, and it's like he feels he has to protect her because like he's sperm guarding, and it's like it gets all so hairy out there.
Well, yeah, and like you said, the trad cucks, they think that that's their property.
It's a yeah. They think of a female as their property, which gets them. That starts to towing them down that line to the fatherhood thing. They think she's the property. They think they owe each other things. They think she's pregnant and he's pregnant and he's with her and he's the father and he's all that. That's a whole line of garbage these guys are going down. But it always starts with that possessiveness. And feminists will tell us all the time as males that we're not objects, and men don't understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, they're 100% right on that. And I don't treat no person like they're an object because you know what? I don't want to be treated like a working object. I don't want to be treated like a wallet. And we say that all the time. And them are definite rules I have. I don't want to be treated like an object either. And please respect but we don't get that space respected because women never see, they do the same thing to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they treat us like an ATM machine or whatever.
Yeah, you're an ATM machine. If you're a father, you're a payor. You're the payer. Yeah. And that's an ATM, and that's the responsible party because they're never going to be responsible. I was thinking about my joke about that about God must be a female.
Oh yeah.
Because look around and look at only a female could be this irresponsible.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, there is no. I mean, I don't want to be controversial, but there is no God. I mean, it doesn't. We have creators, which we don't even know who the hell they are, but obviously we were created. Right?
Yeah, I don't know what that. It's biology.
Nature.
We evolved from amoebas.
Yeah. But to think that there's this all-knowing, all-intelligent, that's just first of all, there's no evidence, and then
there's no evidence of that.
Why would this being allow this suffering, right?
Right.
Christians got their stupid reasons that there's a plan or whatever the hell what do they say now? What's their latest tagline for all the suffering? I don't know.
Oh, that's just world policy. Yeah,
all the suffering. It's because of sin. Well, essentially, the Christians will say because it's because of sin.
Yeah, that's it. Some guy was pulling that out of me this morning. He was just cracking me up. It's like just world fallacy, and it ended up where you better watch it, buddy. You're going to go to hell. It's like, what are you saying, man? Think about what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't think about what they're saying. Well, we had a guy that's I won't mention his name, but who did a video, and I think some people follow this guy, but he's still he's in his 20s, and he's pretty much saying that, like Mgtow, something about Mgtow leads you to God or follow. That's a sign that you're like, I don't know. What exactly did he say? I thought it was.
Oh, I didn't even listen. Once they bring in the God thing, I know they're lying. It's traditional.
Something about God, like Mgtow leads you to God, whatever. It just got. I mean, a young guy. I mean, I appreciate him doing videos, trying to lead people to Mgtow, but God's got nothing to do. He's got nothing to do with Mgtow. It's actually got nothing to do with it. It's just
it's got more to do with the traditional conservative than it has to do with Mgtow. The traditional conservatives, that's their thing. It's God, and it's white picket fences and barefoot and pregnant females and marriage, that whole thing. And if you don't understand that, then man, I think you're a little lost in Mgtow,
Yeah, they haven't done the introspection and haven't asked the right questions or whatever. Just not
right. Yeah, there are things that go together and match up very well. And traditional conservatism and religion are just kind of bound at the hip.
I mean, you gotta have critical thinking to them. Just look at like these guys like Copeland and Robertson and Paula White and all these losers like Creflo Dollar, and they got private jets, and yet we have all this homelessness. I mean, right there should tell you something. That should say something. They got these churches; they don't pay taxes. I mean, don't you see? It's part of these institutions are part of the power structure that they're just controlling things. And how do you not make those? And then they'll say, "Oh, it's just a few bad apples," but no, it's not. That's the whole that's the whole way they try to control people.
Well, religion, it's my theory on non-contacted people, and that's how they bring their society into non-contacted people and start becoming the authority, the rulers through religion, and then all of a sudden, they're mad at you because you're not doing what they. It's not that you're not doing what God says. It's that you're not doing what they say, and they're
right. Exactly.
for God.
You hit it on the head right there. What you just said is perfect. Right.
Yeah.
You're not right. That's the right. It's a God that they created.
Right.
And you're not doing what that God wants you to do, right? Who's a homicidal maniac, at least.
Yeah, which is a homicidal maniac, and he's
right, homicidal maniac telling you to kill. I mean, in the Christian God, at least is a total freaking nutcase. You tell your son to sacrifice your son, like you know, like that. You know,
yeah, they have some pretty bizarre.
And even with Jesus, you know, they sacrificed Jesus on, you know, and all this kind of stuff. But like, it's just a horseshit story, and so anyway, the whole suffering thing. They talk about suffering because of sin. We have like this crazy world, and like the stuff that you brought up about responsibility. It's like it takes away responsibility from people, right? You can say, "Oh, it's not me. I was born with this tainted blood of sin, and that's why I'm an asshole. It's not because of anything I've done." Yeah. Can I say a-hole on
yeah, you can say a-hole.
yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like enough of this stuff, you know what I mean? Enough of this you know, a whole thing about you know, you go to church once a week and then okay, now I can Monday morning I can still act like a piece of crap to everybody, and because I can just come back again next week and get forgiven.
Yeah, you just get forgiven and that's it. And they do that. And with the argument I was having this morning, it was this guy. I don't know who he was, but he was obviously angry because I didn't believe what he was saying.
Yeah.
He was gonna.
Well, it's not PC. We're not PC here.
At the end of the conversation, it was God's gonna do something to me for him.
Yeah.
It's like, really, sure. God's gonna do something to me for you. It's funny how God always, you know, your God always agrees with you.
Yeah. Crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I just told him at the end, just go tell a bunch of kids that they're going to hell because they don't believe what you're saying.
Yeah, how's that? Like when we talk about like they pretty much trauma. They create all this trauma in young adults and
children, and
this whole devil thing, this whole made up metaphysical. You know what? And quite frankly, and I talked to Blackwolf about this. Like, I want to explore like more about this whole thing about the spiritual metaphysical world, which I don't even think exists. I think the whole thing is made up. The more I think about it, I think this is all made up shit. Angels, demons, and metaphysical bullshit. It's all made up. I think it's just made up. I really do.
Right. Eventually, they'll get somebody that goes psychopathic and or not psychopathic. They go schizophrenic and start seeing angels and demons because their mind is snapped. Their mind's fractured. And and then they'll start doing weird shaking or something or something not peculiar, and that this is evidence of the demons around us. And I've never seen a demon. I've never seen. I just figured out the one thing that I did see that, and then just lately I ran onto the medical explanation for it.
Okay.
And that's okay. There goes the one thing that I did see that looks sort of spiritual in a way. There was a female that eyes had turned black after a relationship. Her eyes turned flat black, and then I realized what she had done. She had taken belladonna.
Okay.
And then the pupils, the eyes turned black, and then nowadays I was thinking I was going to go explain to her what she did to herself because she killed her thyroid by doing that.
Why would she do the belladonna? Was it like a self-inflicted thing or wound or what?
No, she wanted to get out of the relationship with, and it was like she took the belladonna and she turned her eyes, and then she did some weird thing. It's like it made it easier for her to escape this certain relationship, and with no responsibility or anything, of course. But women do weird things, and then I always thought, well, that was the one spiritual thing that I seen where the devil kind of took somebody But then I realized I was going over some books, and I was talking to a friend, and the friend said, "Well, this was a person here that," and then I realized I just got this mental image in my head of I was looking down at a purse or something, and I said, "What are you taking belladonna for?" And she said, "Oh, for a medical thing." And then I realized, boom, what had happened, what she did to herself. And I forgot all about that. And then I perceived it, and people around me, we were talking, it's like we all perceived it as that was just evil what happened to her. But she started smoking crack.
Yeah.
And she was taking the belladonna for there's some reasons why girls take it, and one of the thing is the eyes turn black.
There was a hooker named Belladonna. I think so.
Belladonna? You knew a hooker named Belladonna?
Some hooker,
Which is what is deadly nightshade?
Oh God, man. Yeah, so I really think I'm starting to lean. So anyway, like being in, I spent a lot of time 2 years, right? I was like kind of in the country, and
yeah.
So now I'm back in this plastic city.
You in the plastic city?
The weather. Yeah, I like the weather, and it's I like the sun, man. It's great, but but you learn a lot when you're in nature for 3 years, and like you see the turtles and the birds and whatever, right? Yeah, you know how it is. You see the water, the creeks, and all this kind of stuff, and that is the creator is right in your face, right? It's right there. That's in nature. It's real. It's stuff you can see. It's not this metaphysical bunch of BS that really financially is probably a multi-trillion-dollar market, right? It's like they just got all these people believing all this nonsense. Yeah, and it's like I'm going to put a curse on you. I'm going to put a spell on you. It's like give me a break. Come on. You ever see like those voodoo dolls and they
yeah.
I always thought that was the stupidest thing, like a voodoo doll, and there's people that believe it though.
Oh yeah, there's people that believe anything you can plate, someone will believe it.
Right. And then they'll say, oh, you're gonna die because no shit, everyone dies, dumbass. It's like, yeah, okay, eventually, yeah, your body's gonna biologically just die. It's gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, I think the most a person that's like I guess the age where let's say you have a person from birth to the rest of their life to eat all the healthy foods, to do all the right things, right? The most they're gonna live is 147. That's the information that I got from a really good source. And so you're gonna live to 147. Okay, great, congratulations, you lived to 147, but you're still gonna die. You're physically still gonna die, and who knows what happens after that, really? But it's not for us to know. If it was, we would have a more scientific information. We would have evidence.
We have a better grasp on it.
Yeah, nobody knows that it wasn't meant for anybody to know, maybe, right? And I don't think it's a big deal anyway. Like you said, like you were okay before you were born. I mean, so
can you remember before you were born? It's like probably the same thing.
Right, probably the same thing, and it's not. I hate to say it's not a big deal, because I know a lot of people stress over it, and something you think about. But just there's no point in worrying about it, because it's going to happen anyway. So just go out and enjoy your life, and I think
and that's the thing. It's enjoy your life to the fullest right now. And that was Cam who said, this thing's absurd, and we don't know either way what's going to happen. And religion is absurd. The idea that we're put on this planet to learn, to mature, to grow, to get all this knowledge, and then die is fucking absurd. So the only thing you can really do is just live life to the fullest. Try to be. Yeah, he said, imagine yourself happy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And a big part of that is surrounding yourself with people that you can learn from. And quite frankly, you're not going to learn shit from a simp. You're not going to learn shit from PUA. You're not going to learn shit from. I hate to say, you're really not going to learn shit from married guys. I'm sorry. It's like, I don't think so, because they're all about their family. Oh, my family, my family. You're not really going to learn a lot from that. You might learn things outside of like business wise. Maybe they can teach you a couple of strategies, but they're really not going to. Their mind is so in la la land with their family. They're willing to do anything with their family, and they act all crazy, and so we're kind of in a small group. That's why I like talking to RP and JK a lot, and Black Wolf lately. I've been talking to him more, like on Discord, because those are guys that I can learn from and we can bounce ideas off of. And
yeah, we have to have a tight group in Mgtow, and we got to try to keep it together because, man, the other Mgtows like you, I mean, you're in Los Angeles, JK's in Los Angeles, are you in Vegas? I don't know where you're at.
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix. I switch every week.
You're in Phoenix now? Okay. Okay. RP in Toronto, and I'm in the general Cleveland area. We're too far in future. There's to have a really, we have to keep it together and make Mgtow because so many other guys rely on it. And I mean, we're probably never going to have I'm never going to go to a Mgtow bar. I'm never going to go to a Mgtow meeting anywhere. And I'd like to set up Mgtow meetings. That would be great if I could go to a Mgtow meeting once a week.
Yeah.
I don't care where it's at, like the back of a photo store or some book club, probably a library. We have a Mgtow lead meeting in a library.
Yeah. And it's good. You need that support.
Yeah, you need support, and sometimes you just need to hear words that are common to your thoughts and your attitude about life. And
I shouldn't say you need it. I should say more it helps. I should say it helps.
It helps. Yeah, you don't need it. There's, like I say, I got friends and they're simps, and I mean, what can you do? But that stuff gets old once in a while.
Well, the hard part for me is watching them suffer because, like, you want to don't listen. They just don't listen. And I've had a couple, several friends I've tried to help. Just goes in one ear after the other, and they do suffer. They financially and emotionally, whatever. They're trauma in their life,
Yeah, suffering's a part of their religion. I mean, so they'll suffer for the female, they'll suffer for what they want, and that's just people taking advantage of their religion in them. And that's a shame that somebody would go through a whole life considering that suffering was their duty.
Yeah, that's what they're taught. They're taught that that's okay.
Yeah, it's like
they normalize suffering, right?
For all the Christians out there, that's the suffering of the cross and everything. They're gonna instantly go to that. Jesus only carried that cross for like a half a day.
Right, and there was no evidence actually points there was no Jesus. It was just I guess it was Titus or.
Yeah, and in the rest of his life, he probably tried to live pretty suffering free. I mean, he wasn't like driving nails into his he would have considered that to be foolishness.
I wonder what that guy was doing from age 12 to 30. Like, there's like no record. Isn't that incredible?
Mm-hmm.
There's this missing evidence there.
Yeah, they get a lot of like guesswork on that, where he was. He's Eastern. And then some say he went to France. Some say he went to, or what France would have been at that time. But that's just a lot of, he was just a regular guy, probably smoking dope and having some shit. He's like,
he's boning Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, he was like, dudes, man, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to tell everybody I'm Christ. And pest bomb. And he's like, oh, man, I'm going to make so much money on this.
Yeah. There was a pope that said something like, oh, we've benefited really well from this story we made up. There was a pope that actually said that.
Yeah.
It was one. It was maybe after
they do. They benefit from it. Years ago. They live, I don't know if they live a better life or, when it gets into when it gets into our politics, I think those people generally make it corrupt, and you see Christianity all riddled through our politics. And I think that people are trying to live the best life they can on your dime.
That's right. Like they're saying, they just want your money. I mean, that's a lot of people in general, especially simps and married guys, they just want your money. They just want your money. So, because they got to feed their family, and then their kids got to go to these stupid colleges that don't teach them anything. I mean, I
Right.
shouldn't say that. Most
Right.
colleges.
The group and the community keeps them together so they can take care of each other and
Right.
spread the corruption around and spread the wealth around. I was looking at this week, I was looking at JK probably knows about it. In California, they said they're going to give $12 billion to the homeless. And there's 135,000 homeless in LA and around that area and everything. But so they're going to make housing up. And then I thought, oh, here we go with the bid splitting. And then they said 7 billion of it's going to go for the housing. And I was thinking, where's the other 5 billion going?
Uh-huh.
And everybody on this page sort of, Americans are waking up to that stuff. Do-gooders that do-gooders only do good if they can make money, and they're self-serving.
That's right.
And one person said, well, that would be $78,454 per person if you just gave them the money and then let them. Right. And then after that, if they're homeless, it's their own fault. But
yeah,
I'd like to see someone take the whole $12 billion and just, build, small residential apartments and maintained by the residents. And and you can go there and live if you're homeless. And you can, it's much cheaper to build than it is to buy something. They're going to spend $7 billion on these. And then I'm sure that in that process of buying and selling the real estate, someone's making out, someone's bidding, there's bid splitting, and there's people that are going to, when these organizations do that, they're paying maybe 100, 200, 300 people really good. And it's just no, why don't you just, that's what I always say about the social concept of the social fact is it always, it goes in a pyramid, and then instead of going from the needy, from the altruistic people to the needy and straight over where they get the services, it's got to go through these people, and they got to chop their little bits off. So that's what I was kind of noticing this week. And our government's so riddled with that now, and all the do-gooders only do good if they're making money.
Mm-hmm. Well, they would never give the money to the people, because then they would lose control, right? They would lose because those people could start businesses, they can empower themselves.
Or straight into a housing project where it would just house all these people. I'm sure you can house 135,000 people.
They want people under stress, and they want people to be enslaved to their jobs and all this kind of stuff. So they would never do anything that's truly going to help people. Yeah.
Right. And Mgtow had that idea too. We were going to start Mgtown, and through the mayor of Mgtown.
Yeah, douchebag.
Yeah, he bought the real estate. We bought the real estate through our donation.
Mayor of Douchetown.
Yeah, and it never transposed. You can see how those altruistic things work out, and how.
It's funny how he went away after we called his ass out.
Yeah, he went away, and he got a lovely deal, and that property is probably worth 100% more at least now, and maybe more, maybe 800, 900% more that he bought. Yeah. And that property really belongs to us and should be going for, the homeless. And boy, they could have called him and say, "Hey, I already got the property. You just put the."
That would have got built in like 30 days.
What's that?
That would have got built in like 30 days. We had like a good Mgtow, guys like LP helping out or something like that. If you had the time to do it.
Yeah. I was also looking at.
I was going there, I'll be lifting bricks and do whatever I got to do too. Whatever.
Yeah.
Your electrical work and whatever, right? Like you get a group of a bench in, you can probably do something there. And
it would have been cheaper. It would have been purely donated by Mgtow. The little houses were like houses the size of a room here. Like you can you can get a shed, basically a wood shed. And put a couple extra boards for security and a couple nicer windows in it and stuff, and then put You put a bed in there and a kitchen, and that's all a person that's homeless needs, and he's happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
get running water and everything. But I also seen that the same government that wanted to spend this $12 billion was denying the permits for these small houses. And they're saying, oh, these were taking years and years to get together. No, they don't take years and years to get together. All you got to do is plumbing, electrical, and put up a little shed. And then it'd take a day to drywall it and paint it. And put, a minimal amount of a bed and some kitchen equipment. That's not very expensive. I could probably do it for less than $1,000.
Yeah, they don't want to empower people.
No,
they want to empower themselves and keep people under stress. And that's why I tell people that are in debt. I said, listen, I'll acknowledge it does suck, right? You're in debt, but you know what? Why would you worry about it? Like, just send the minimum payments if you even can send that. If you can't send it, then don't worry about it. Just what are you going to do? You can't pay. Okay. So there's no need to stress out over this. You can file a bankruptcy if you need to. There's a lot of options. Understand what your options. That's what I told you guys when I was living on the West Coast and the housing crisis. During the housing crisis, I don't want to like giving people advice unless they're asking me specific questions on but I would just say understand what your options are, and then make the best decision. A lot of these people don't understand what their options are. So that's a lot of their problem, because they don't understand they have all these options, and one of the options is just don't pay. You know what I'm saying?
Don't pay.
Like they're born with this type of mentality of having this honor code when the people that you're paying are the biggest mother effers around. They're the bill. You know what I mean? Like I heard a story like this one lady who had some credit card problems. She ended up killing herself. Like drowned. She took her car and ran it off a bridge, or it's like, geez, lady, it's like, if you're going to do that, there's
right.
Probably
if you believe that.
I don't advocate suicide. I don't think it's a good idea, but just let it go. If you can't pay it, don't fucking worry about it. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it go. It's going to go to collections. Or you can file bankruptcy. There's a lot you have options. Suicide is not an option.
Right,
It's not a smart thing to do. It's really not. It's like and I think a lot of it ties into that religious thing and the guilt and the suffering, and it's really it's just a really bad situation you can put yourself
in. The root of all slavery is debt.
Right. Just let it go.
Just let it go. Free yourself.
You got to free yourself from that stuff. It's like you can't shit. When I went like 2-3 years without working, and I'm stubborn. I'm cocky son of a bitch, and I'm stubborn, and I wasn't gonna take a shitty job. I was like, so there were a couple of times I couldn't pay the mortgage there, and I was like, I said, F you. I said, I'll pay you when I can. I said, this is what I said to my mortgage. I said, I'll pay you when I want to pay you. I said, if you guys got an issue, send your lawyers out here, and then we can do it that way with the lawyers. Don't ever threaten me or call me or okay. And we handled it. I handled it, and my point I'm trying to make is like you got to be savvy and you got to be street smart and you got to understand what your options are in life, and I think that definitely ties into Mgtow, because a lot of people don't even understand that Mgtow is the best option for a high quality of life. Well, RP and I and JK were talking about it just before I went on. Like we estimated, like RP estimated like 50. So out of the English speaking people, there's 1.35 billion people that are English speaking, that understand some English. Like RPS made like 50,000 of them were understood Mgtow. So it's like it comes out to like 0.00003%. So that's an option that men don't understand they have, this option of Mgtow, and that's why we're here today. I think is just to try to give them that better understanding of what it is and how it can help them.
Yeah,
I don't know how that ties into housing, but anyway, before it's just I think it's just a whole plan of empowering yourself as a human being and not letting these people make you feel guilty for things, and whether it's financially or whatever, right? Or obviously through relationships with women, right? Don't you don't have to be a sucker, okay?
Yeah. It's like
on a rant.
The message: if there's dudes out there going through an existential crisis and they're starting to see that this thing with Christian relationships, marriages, dating and stuff isn't working out. Mgtow provides an option for that. That's very logical. It's very
Right.
reasonable, and we'd like to be able to share this with them. And I mean, we get detractors from all sides, and
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah,
become
understand what your options are. There's no need to be stressed out all the time because you can't pay a bill or I don't know. Are you? Yeah. So there's no need to be. We should not be living under all this stress. Like it's always all this stress. Tax. I know tax.
stress. You're gonna
Who cares? Just pay the minimum. Just do the minimum. Don't. Even at work. It's like I remember when I used to work. I used to be like a freaking nut, man. I used to work with all this, like really, like I still work hard. I always worked hard, but I was like way too intense. Like I would do a lot more work than the average person there, right? I would just do the extra stuff, like just out of my own pride and energy. And then I realized as I got older, well, a lot of times it doesn't even matter, right? Because I got downsized so many times in my career, even though I was a top performer. I'm like, what's the point of killing myself? I'm just going to do enough to to get by to where my boss is happy with my work, but I'm not killing myself. Like that's the level you want to be at. If you do more than that, unless it's your own business, obviously you have more incentives. But if you do more than that, you're kind of like putting yourself in a lot of a stressful situation when you try to overdo it. Because they don't appreciate it anyway. So anyway,
yeah, just reduce the stress, and there is place for guys to go, and that's what we want to see. We want to keep the message going, and see if we can just improve the quality of men's lives and everything, and do something good on the way.
Yeah. No, that's true, and the harm reduction is a part of that. That ties into what's the title of your talk today? I don't even know.
So the topic title today.
Yeah.
So you have a simp friend.
Oh yes, you have a simp friend. Okay, yeah. So maybe get.
That's
they cause a lot of problems. No, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the topic is, well, what do you do? And we all have simp friends, and
yeah. I think for me, like, it's like you have to be a super strong Mgtow first of all.
Right.
You can't be a half-assed Mgtow light. Mgtow lights, no, I don't think it's good to have a simp friend. I don't think you guys are ready.
No, because they'll get you simping if you're a Mgtow light.
Right. If you're a Mgtow light and going to Cambodia and have Richard Branson posters on your wall and
posters.
or Juliette Lewis who just, I don't know if you saw the fight between Juliette Lewis and Claire.
It
was Natural Born Killers Part 4. Claire Shanks Juliette Lewis her ugly ass in that film. So way to go, Claire. That was a good one. You did a good job there. But I can't stand Juliette Lewis. Oh my goodness, that face, the whole thing. I mean, she looks terrible. I don't see how she even made it like that far.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the whole thing about I think it takes a super strong Mgtow and knowing who you are to really even consider being around a simp, and even then, I think you still have to kind of minimize your time with them.
Right. Yeah, if there's something, lunch or going out or stuff like that, and just but personal time spent around them has to be cut to a minimal.
Yeah, and that means like, so you don't have to always return their calls if you don't feel like talking to them, stuff like that. It's not being rude. Like this whole thing about being rude. I mean,
right.
You don't have to be like that guy that's always got his phone. Like today, I went out in town and I purposely left my phone, in my hotel. I don't want, I just don't. I'm not. You know what I mean? It's like I don't. Yeah, don't be that. I wouldn't. It's not good to be that person that's always answering the phone. It's probably a good idea to screen call. You don't have to answer emails right away. Stuff like that. Kind of. Yeah. So. I think that simp thing ties in with simp friends with codependency. Like, don't be get away from that codependency.
Yeah, don't be codependent to their. You're not going to be their wingman. You're not going to be like,
right.
Mom or trying to find them dates or stuff like that, to keep them happy. And I mean, it's so simple what they want. They want they want the validation from being around a woman, and they want the cuddles and hugs on the couch. And it's like, no, I'm not going to be involving myself in that stuff.
The cuddles, yeah.
Cuddles, yeah, they're going to be cuddling on the couch. Jesus, so unmanly.
You ever see that Mr. Pickle show? JK and I were watching it the other day.
Okay, Mr. Pickle, yeah, that's funny.
So Pickle, there was a show.
Rick and Morty, is it Rick and Morty?
Yeah, that's a different one. But I think, I don't know if, it's still Adult Swim maybe. But I don't follow Rick and Morty. I know it's a popular show, but the Pickles had a scene where like they were in like this Neanderthal guy, he like or Viking or wherever he is. Like, so the grandfather's trying to set up Mr. Pickles.
Okay.
To get rid of him because he's an evil dog, because he's a satanic dog or whatever. And
the dog, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
The dog was, and so he goes to like this resort town, and there's a Viking or big guy that's his wife had passed away or something, and so he goes to the grandpa's like trying to set up Pickles to kill him, because he's an evil dog, and the Neanderthal guy, he goes up to his cabin like middle of nowhere, and he goes, hey, I thought you might want some company. I need to cuddle. And he like forces him to cuddle with or something. I don't know. So it was like really weird.
Yeah.
And then Pickles got away, and I don't know, whatever. But it was just funny how you get this big dude who's like masculine big dude, and he still needs to cuddle. And
he still needs to cuddle. There was a scene in The Patriot where he was a CIA agent, and some guy blackmailed him into cuddling with him.
Oh, really? Patriot with Harrison Ford? Or who's in that one?
Oh, The Patriot, the new Amazon Patriot with, I can't remember the actors in it.
Okay.
It's a series, and it's really good if you get to watch it. But there was just one kind of cringy scene where he looked like Ebenezer Scrooge, and he was like, he blackmails him to cuddle with him.
Yeah, I was thinking of Patriot Games. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, and don't they have like hug strippers now, where where men need to cuddle, go to the hug stripper?
Oh my god.
Oh,
that's terrible. I remember in
that's a total waste of a stripper.
I remember my own simp days. Over a decade, years ago, probably 15 years ago. Like I was out with my buddy, and we met these two broads, and I gave her a hug, and simp would like a freaking embarrassing even telling the story, but like she goes, "That's not how you hug. This is how you hug." Like she was like correcting me on how to hug.
Correcting you on how to hug. You're probably really uncomfortable with it, the whole thing, anyways. Like,
oh yeah, the whole thing was like. It was just really weird, man. It's like it's just one of those like weird things, and it's like now it's like I don't want to freaking hug any women.
Yeah, some guys are just not cuddle guys. I'm not a cuddle guy. You can't imagine. I don't even know if anybody can obviously imagine me cuddling with somebody, and I really don't want to. I'd be like really uncomfortable. I'd be like horrified look on my face.
Yeah, and women try to create that emotional attachment. That's what it is.
Right.
So that's all it is. Right.
That's when the oxytocin makes you want to cuddle like a child up to her breasts, and that's the oxytocin that they set off, and they actually produce it too. So it's like, any man that wants to do that is highly affected by hormones.
Yeah. Well, that's why you see a lot of these married guys acting all crazy and.
Yeah, they like to cuddle, and they're acting crazy. They're possessive. They're sperm guarding. Their hormones are acting funny, and they're angry. They're IUD males. They just that's not the kind of person I want to be around.
No. I mean, like I told you, I like listen to a lot of these like ex-mobsters, and they're so, I hate to say it, a lot of them are very effeminate, man.
Oh yeah, when they get the estrogen in there, and they're producing the oxytocin, and they're getting oxytocin on them, and they're getting estrogen all over them and everything, and that's, you're going through a hormonal change. And we hear women say, "Oh, I'm just being hormonal this month." Well, men that are married and putting that all over them, They're going through hormonal changes, and no wonder they're so irritable. No wonder they're IUD males. No wonder they're doing crazy things because they're going through a hormonal change.
Yeah, and they would these guys. The thing is, like, they do anything for their family. They're just freaking lunatics, man. They're just like that's why they act crazy. Yeah, I'll do anything for my family.
Yeah, I'll do anything, and anything for her, and anything for the family, and
anything for the crew, and for that's just whatever. Oh, you got to kill your best friend. Okay, sure. What time do you want me to do it? I mean, are you that freaking stupid?
Yeah.
It's like, what kind of person are you? What kind of human being are you? Kill your own freaking friend?
Yeah, she's the object of his addiction, and he would do anything for that addiction. And so men don't understand it. It's just simple biology, and they get all wrapped up in that. And it's a despicable sight. The simp is a despicable sight when he's going through it, and it's very unmanly. But in some of the research now and everything that goes on, and you hear the women saying, hey, you guys have dominance over us. Well, think about that situation, that the female has dominance over the male like that. And he's addicted, and he would do anything for her, and he's on drugs, and you're holding him bound on drugs. Doesn't that seem a little bit contrary to the feminist idea?
Yeah. It's just it's too bad. It's too bad more men don't understand it. Well, that's why we do our part. We try to come on, at least present a different way of viewing seeing things.
Yeah. I know how hard that is. I think the first time I ever really cheated, like I contemplated cheating or just getting away from my family and wife, was after I was on penicillin for a while, and I got off it, and everything didn't look the same, and it kills all those bacteria, it stops the hormones and everything, and it's like I was like, I just want to get away from this. That's kind of the first time I seen myself in a mirror, and how I was acting, and that I was under the influence of drugs, and I needed to stop that. And
you mean the female natural drugs, female hormones? You mean?
Yeah, the female hormones, and the love drugs you produce and everything. And once I seen that brightness, that different world, the outlook of masculinity, and it was like, that's what I want. I don't want to be where I was at for years. I was at, good father, the cuddle machine. It's like it's like
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, that's biology, right? Like these guys don't understand that. They haven't done the study that you have on that stuff, like pheromones and all this kind of shit. They haven't done it. And they wouldn't believe it. It's like you couldn't even show them this scientific paper. They'd be too dumb.
Yeah, they wouldn't believe it anyway.
I don't want to make fun of them.
They know what's happening to them when they're starting to go through it and everything. They know it's happening, but they'll deny that it's happening, and it's not a bad feeling. It's that everything's okay feeling, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But that's not a real feeling. You're on drugs. You're being manipulated. It's interspecific mimicry, and it's what you call we can see it in nature, and all of a sudden the female praying mantis eats the male praying mantis. It's aggressive mimicry. That's why they're doing it. They're doing it so you work hard, you take care of everything, you bring all the resources. You're a zombie. And it's aggressive mimicry is what it is.
I mean, I can't imagine sleeping with somebody in the same bed for.
Oh God,
can you imagine? Holy shit!
Nowadays it's like horrible. That why I ever volunteered for that, because them drugs are powerful. You take a regular, normal, well-thinking man and make him into a simp.
Yeah. It's almost like they knew what they were doing. These people that were controlling all these institutions back in the day and trying to push them around. They knew what they were. It's like they knew. They knew. They had the information on how to really control populations and have because I remember back in the day, Happy Days, they used to show Mrs. Cunningham, Mr. Cunningham, they had like separate beds or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? So they were probably, maybe Mr. Cunningham was maybe a lot smarter than most other men, right?
Yeah, well, but probably it was more they couldn't show it like it was a showed in a 50s light, like people don't want to think about two older people sleeping together and everything.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
so it's probably more of a realistic idea of how people should. You shouldn't sleep in the same bed as somebody.
Right. Now they normalize that, and like
that.
you tied into the drugs that women give off, and yeah, you're right. You get a more effeminate.
In men, it really shouldn't be in a household. I mean, the boys should be put into a household full. You ever see how effeminate boys in households with all women are? They're just estrogen.
Yeah. And you got to feel for guys that are married and have 3-4 girls, right? And then that's a very dangerous man right there, like pretty much.
That's a very dangerous man, yeah. But I mean, you had so many problems into that too. When you got the PUAs and hounds and the pussy hounds and everything, and he's trying to protect his domicile or his household, and of course, you're going to get violence after that, and it's or a very very confused. He's cognitively dissonant, and he's just all screwed up in the head. And why would a man want to live that way? And it's not really their choice either. This is the lies that have been fed to him in society. Like he just thinks it's better. He just thinks that's all there is. You know how that feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
When you start working on a job or you start doing something in life, and you just get to that apathy where this is all there is, and that's not all there is.
Right. That's why I think it's important to get into nature a lot. And
nature. I would suggest that any guy coming into Mgtow stops. Go celibate for a while, get down to the best place to unwind yourself and go through that withdrawal is in nature. Find some, take some wormwood oil, wormwood and walnut oil. Get rid of all that. Start communing with nature. Get back thinking right, and then kind of work yourself back into society. You need to do that for a month, 2 months, to get all that out of you. And then after about 2-3 months of, being celibate, getting all those hormones out of you and getting your testosterone back up, you can start that right away. The woods will do that too. Do you get your testosterone up?
For sure.
Once you do that, life will look totally different, and then you may be able to see where you were trapped.
Yeah, and I think that also the staying away from like the processed foods, I think will help too, like the soy, and we talk about soy boys, but that is very true. Like with soy and syrup and all this other terrible shit for you. That's or whatever, Claire cookies, Oreo cookies.
Yeah, I reduced my plastic bottles and the water.
Yeah, exactly. Plastic bottles.
So I make sure no estrogens are in the plastic.
Right. That's right.
I use one of these bottles that are from the Soda Stream. I threw the Soda Stream out, and I just use the bottle as my water bottle. And then I filter my water a lot now, so you get estrogen in your water, and it's just everywhere.
Yeah, because you see a lot of these guys that it's like they can't grow facial hair. That's a usually do with diet. It could be hereditary, but
yeah, I think it's more.
But it's probably more diet and just
diet and removing the estrogen and increasing your testosterone. I grew this in a week.
Yeah. It takes me about more like 3 weeks or something like that. But I can't grow it.
There's Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, want to come in?
Jeff Burns is in the house?
Jeff Burns in the house. Jeff never comes in. I was going to ask him, why don't you ever come in? I like that. Just sit and talk bullshit with Jeff for a couple hours.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah,
He
Jeff's
gets
a good dude.
yeah, he gets it. What and he has a lot of good ideas. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something me and him talk about. Yeah, the harm reduction,
Yeah, Jeff is down there
plaster
dealing with.
therapy,
He's
the
down there
plaster.
down under dealing with the Australian Claire.
Yeah, he's doing some plaster work for Claire, and I told him to bring a gun because she's got best knives in the world. So
Oh
just
man,
in case she attacks him.
yeah, she got a machine gun that shoots knives,
Yeah, don't shoot her, but just threaten her with the gun if she throws some knives at you.
mounted on a helicopter.
Claire's so yeah. I'm trying to think of what Jeff and I are. Oh, I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks, but I forget what like one of the main points we used to bring up. Oh man, I'm just trying to think. But he had a lot of good ideas about a lot of things. But most stresses. He gets out. He walks a lot too.
Does he walk around? Yeah, I never get him
gotta
on to
do it.
talk about what he does.
Yeah, yeah. Don't kill yourself. It's good to get out in nature the best you can, and you know, but yeah, gosh, I don't know. There was something I wanted to talk about with one of the discussions I had with him. That I thought was important, but I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah. Sometimes it just leaves.
Yeah,
Sometimes I get on here. I have a
yeah,
great idea all day, and then I get on here and I forget my idea. It's like,
yeah. But yeah, it's some friends are. God, there's just I mean I pretty much broke away from all of them except for like maybe one or two I talked to, and they're not too bad,
yeah.
but even then I have to kind of keep a distance because they try to wheel me in like third wheel and dating.
Yeah. The criteria I keep
Yeah,
for
I don't
friends is
like it.
probably pretty much masculinity and honor. You have to have those two aspects, and
Yeah,
honor is the thing, because you could tell a simps don't have no honor, and
no, no,
that's one of
no.
the predetermining things how I choose even new friends, and I have new friends too, and you got to sort through that whole thing with them, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's and the tough part for me was like just had to give up on some friendships and just people that were. Because you get that shaming thing too. Like my family, I have this traditional extended family, and like, oh, Mary, he wastes his life, Mary, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So they think because you're not in a relationship that you're miserable, or you didn't get married, you wasted your life, and so that those are real issues you got to kind of walk yourself through because
Right. Can
sometimes you can
you imagine that you're coming at somebody as a friend and you're telling them they have wasted their life? That's such a cruel thing to say to somebody because they didn't
yeah,
do
yeah,
it's same as religion. They didn't do
right,
the
right,
mating thing. Like, no, that's cruel to say to somebody. I mean,
right,
you really got to talk to somebody. Well, what have you done in your life? And most of
right,
us have done, some pretty extreme things in my life, and you
yeah,
know, I haven't wasted my life. And I mean, most of the time, you just find me out mountain biking.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think if like that desire to maybe spread your DNA type thing. I mean, maybe that's where Cambodia can come
Yeah,
in.
maybe you take a girl to
Uh,
Cambodia, and
Even then, I wouldn't even bother with it. But if that's something you feel like you need to do biologically, then I don't know. I don't think 200 miles, more like 20,000 miles in a fake ID. I don't know.
20,000 miles in a
20,
safe. Yeah, at least
20,000
four.
miles even exist or no? I don't even know.
Yeah, let's go 2,000 miles in a fake ID.
Yeah, leave the country and get a fake ID. But even then, you're still putting yourself at risk. Like because I used, in my younger days, I was doing some wild stuff and not too wild, but like I would say it's wild now looking back, but at the time
Yeah,
you didn't thought I was practicing harm reduction. But it's RP and I were talking about that. So like, yeah, so I know we mentioned it earlier, but like as you get older, just because someone's older doesn't mean they're more mature, right? And so that's an
right.
important idea to
Yeah,
understand.
that's that's wild how you run into old immature men, and it's just like,
Yeah,
wow, Whoa.
Yeah, especially when they get into their 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're still acting like simps and idiotic, and like that guy at the gym. He's in his probably early 50s. Come up to me like wanted to fight. I'm like 30 years old at the time. I was like in really good shape and I could move.
He wanted to fight you over a woman he knew for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like you thought I was getting in on his. It's like, dude, it's like I'm not gonna get arrested here and beat your ass in front of everybody. This guy was probably 220, but I was like, that was the time I was like 240. I mean, like fucking, I was working out every day. Like, dude, it wouldn't even. It'd be fucking ugly. It would get ugly for you. It's like, and like I was like over abroad. It's like, no, I don't think so. And I just hate it when those situations come up. But now I just walk away from those. Like if it's me now and he said that to me, I would just swim to the other end of the pool.
But to stop,
I wouldn't even have had a conversation with him. I would just swim to the other end of the pool. The only way I'm going to beat his ass is if he swings at me, right? He's got to physically swing at me, like verbal. Like I was talking, I think it was Black Wolf about it. I was like, you know what? I go, man. I go verbal stuff. Who cares? Someone wants to talk shit to me. Yeah, who cares? I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to be like prideful and. Now if somebody hits me physically, then it's different. Now I got to defend myself.
I'll make it end.
Yeah. I got to defend myself, whatever. But verbal stuff, no, I don't even care. I just let it go because that's the one of the times I got myself in a bad situation was from a verbal.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody said something to me and they bumped me and it was like three guys and I was just me and I got sucker punched and really didn't do anything to me and that's kind of. And they're like, "Oh, he doesn't want to fight."
Yeah.
But that was it, and I just walked away, and I wasn't even hurt, and I just let it go. And it'd be tough to fight three guys, right? It'd be kind of like two. You can kind of maybe if you're smart enough, you can do it. Maybe three is kind of hard. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I found that in my old age, my verbal kung fu is really sharp.
Well, you're smart enough probably to avoid. Things too, like I just like I can sense it, right? That's like that sense, like to avoid, like I told you, like that situation I had in the sauna. Like if it's me now, I actually found that saunas are actually very unhealthy because of all the stress it puts on your body, the breathing and the heat and everything. Yeah, it's actually unhealthy. But anyway, that's another topic. But like the thing is, like. If I wasn't, I would just walk away. I wouldn't even engage anyone, and I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just leave. Like being a third kind of, Now, if there was like 5 or 10 people in there, then it's different. But if there's like 3 people and 2 of them are guys and 1 girl, then I'm not gonna.
Oh.
I'm not even engaging conversations with women in general. Like I was talking to JK, they're kind of laughing at me, but so I don't even want to talk to a female. Like,
really?
Unless it's like a customer for work or it's
right,
something.
You keep it very professional. That's what I.
Yeah, keep it very professional at all times. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to do I don't even want to do any chit chat. Because look what happened to me today. A good example was today. Like she thinks I'm hitting on her. I'm not hitting on her, honey. We're just talking. Good. I'll learn my lesson. So now I got to learn it again. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just kind of keep it professional a lot of times. It's like my Jane thing. You just keep it professional, and she has a sandwiches. That's what she does, and be nice, keep it professional, and then you get good sandwiches made, and that's the payoff.
Yeah, and what bothers me is kind of a tough thing is when they ask me out, like which hasn't happened in a few years, but because I'm not out there. But that happens. It happened every 2 years. Chick asked me, "Hey, you want to go grab a drink?"
Yeah, I know you're going with that one girl. She really wanted to go out with you. It's like,
and I just played it off, like because this was like an account I used to call, and I was like, "Oh fuck," here we go. And so my move is like, "Okay, yeah, sure," and then I just ignore him after.
Yeah.
So I just hate it when stuff like that comes up because. She wasn't that bad either. That's the whole thing. But the point is, she's super ugly. It's kind of easy just to kind of brush it off. But even if she's attractive, it doesn't really matter because I'm not going there. But it's just one of those things. It's just it's the thing you have to face sometimes in life is these women that are kind of more aggressive in their how they want to come at you.
I just, hey, I'm sorry.
What's your move? Yeah, what's your move on that? So what's your move on that when they ask you out?
I'm just not. You're not my type, or
Yeah, but what if it's a professional account? Like, let's say you're managing apartment, like maintaining apartments, and you might see this person once a month, like just because you have to go there once a month.
Yeah, I just try to avoid the work up to that, so I avoid the
Yeah,
situation.
well, that's what I did. I stopped going to that account. I
It's
just
like
stopped.
if they ask you your name, it's like oh, I was born without one of those. It's a genetic defect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a Stepford wife's son.
Yeah, nameless. It's just
Yeah,
runs.
well, that's like those guys with no faces and Mr. Pickles. They're born with
Yeah,
no faces.
the
Or
no face.
no,
I got,
that Mama Named Me Sheriff. They were guys with no faces, like kids with
yeah,
no faces.
yeah. It's hard to avoid, and so sooner or later, someone's going to be attracted to you, and it's going to be hard
Yeah,
to
yeah,
detect.
yeah.
And I remember the little girl at the Indian store. She was like
Yeah.
really attracted to me, and she'd make me a free lunch every day. And then I
Wow, that's a little
had to
creepy.
cut that off because her brother was like, "So when are you and Ashbila going out?" I was like, "No, we're
When's
not."
the date? I need a brother-in-law.
Yeah, you and my new brother-in-law. It's like, it
Come
was
on,
really,
you make babies.
yeah, it was really beautiful food too. She'd make the Indian, the vegetarian Indian food, and she was like, "Here, try this, Joe," and she'd make me a plate, and I was like, "Oh, it was really sweet of her and everything," but I just didn't.
Yeah,
It was just not going to
she
happen.
wanted that Irish DNA in her.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going to happen, and you just, I mean, being indifferent to it is probably the best thing to do. You just act indifferent to it.
Right. That's what I've done in the past. I mean, I probably had, I don't know, 10 women like kind of in my lifetime, which really I don't think is a lot, but they approach me. Like I'm not
Yeah,
even like I don't even know. It comes out of left field. And probably
yeah.
half of them were probably pretty attractive. The other half were, not that great, but it's like I guess that's not a lot then.
I
But
mean,
but but I wasn't seeking anything. Like I didn't even see it coming. So it's kind of like. But I remember like when I was in my early 20s, late teens, like a couple times I went out and like I fell for it, because I was too young and whatever.
yeah. Back then, most of the time I used to fall for it all the time and go out, and
Yeah.
but now at my age, and it's like it's hard because I'm so fucking pretty too. It's like
Yeah. 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 Well, so handsome. Like that's what they would say, to me, like, oh, you're so handsome.
yeah,
It's like
but
it's like these crazy broads I used to kind of see every now and then.
yeah.
And,
Yeah, you can always tell me that I'm trans lesbian. I only like girls.
yeah. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Look, I dress like dude because I just that's the way I am. I'm just trans lesbian.
But like I'm talking JK and RP today, like we estimated like so 50,000 out of 1.35 billion are not Mgtow. So it's like 0.000, like 4 zeros and a 3, right? So it's like less than 1% of less than 1% or something, right? So that's like so we have to acknowledge that we're living in a world full of simps, right? So that's kind of
Yeah, there's a world where it's full of simps
yeah,
out there. Yeah, and
yeah.
they're out. They're just breeding. There's a lot of breeders, and it's
Yeah.
most of them are religious breeders and simps, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And
Yeah.
but just set things on your own terms and don't get sucked in. And
Yeah. Know yourself. I think knowing yourself and
know yourself. Yeah,
it's kind of hard when you're young, but you have to be confident in your belief system. So when those situations come up, like I was in college, like there was I don't know, I had like a big test the next day. I was studying, these guys were rushing the frat thing, and I was like, this is like 30 years, a long time ago, and I was like, I gotta study, guys, and like eventually, like after the 10th time, they ask you to come. It's like, all right, sure, and there was a party with a bunch of strippers, and when you're young, I guess that can be fun. Looking back, it's really, and this was in the early 90s, so it wasn't as big a deal, right? Like it wasn't like women weren't there, they were still a-holes, but they weren't. It wasn't a PC thing, right? As much
yeah.
now. Like now, you're really putting yourself in a lot of risk when you put yourself in those situations. So I don't even, you got a group of 10, 20 freshman guys in a frat, with these strippers, and that's a bad situation these days, right? To be in. Even back then, you kind of laugh. It's like one of those things you do as a kid, but now it's like forget it. You don't know because these women are so crazy. They'll liable to.
Oh yeah, look at
accuse you of something or whatever. And so my point is like don't let your arm get twisted.
Yeah, the Yale lacrosse team, they're having strippers around, and also one of them accused them, and they found out that was a false accusation.
Oh, you're talking about Ohio State Buckeyes? That story I sent, or what? Sorry, you got that story I sent you with the Ohio State Buckeye massage therapist? She was doing massages. She was like soliciting these Ohio State football players for massages.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was the Harvard Yale lacrosse team. That was the big event.
Oh, that was Duke. You're talking about Duke.
Duke, yeah, and then they got it ruined a lot of the kids' lives, and it's like that's doing to bring the strippers in, and oh my god.
and now it's just gotten worse with this PC thing and the whole Me Too and all this kind of whatever.
Oh yeah, with Me Too, they have to take it seriously, and the male's always the aggressor, and there's just stupid laws about
You remember that fat ass Al Sharpton? Remember with Tawana Brawley and like a fake case, like he tried to get her to some guy raped her or something stupid. I forget. It's like it's a serious thing, but it was all fake. It ended up being all like fake.
Yeah, people are going to weaponize that or later. I think they did in like Watson and Dallas. They weaponized it against them.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Deshaun Watson, yeah.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. I think that was just one case of like Me Too going out of control, and then
I wonder who was behind that, right? Because those guys controlled. Like, if he's a bonus baby, $1 million baby quarterback, like, of course, Bud Adams family, the Illuminati family, they can control the presses and
they can control the press.
Hush up some of these. Just give them $1 million, whatever, $500,000. Okay, sign these papers. All right, you shut the fuck up, and okay, we'll all leave, and everyone's
hush money.
I wonder who he pissed off. I wonder who he pissed off.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know who he pissed off, and
right,
who paid for that.
Right.
They probably gave him $50,000, $40,000, $30,000, and that's enough to
make a cash payment. Listen, whatever. These things happen all the time. I mean, people need to stop being naive. And people get bribed like judges and all these. They take cash bribes all the time. That's just part of the world we live in.
Right, the monetary scheme of the NFL. That's a very cheap out.
Right. There was something there. It's almost like the owners colluded on this one because they're like, okay, we need to control these guys. They're getting out of hand.
Right. And I think that's what they want more control over the players.
Right. I think that's what it was. If I were to guess, I would speculate that's what it was. It was the owners kind of colluding and saying we got to make an example out of this guy.
Yeah, and I think you're going to begin to see that more out of the NBA now. I mean, the day of LeBron James is ending, where he just runs the team and everything. You can see lately that the owners are getting sick of even Cleveland, like the Cavaliers. We're paying Kevin Love to sit on $27 million a year to sit on the bench. You can't have that. You got there has to be some honesty where you could just fire the guy.
Yeah, I heard about him. I guess he didn't run back on a play or something stupid happened.
It's lazy play and
being lazy ass. Yeah, making all that money and you
can't fire him. It's like the CBA is so tight in the NBA that they can't fire him, but I think that's going to change, and it'll probably start in baseball, in football. Now, in football, you can fire a guy and you don't have to pay him.
Yeah.
But in basketball, you can't do that, and those contracts are upheld. So I don't know, which is unfair to the owners. I think it is, and especially when you look at a team like Cleveland, that we can't even compete until we get dumped that contract.
You talking about Kevin Love?
Kevin Love, yeah, K-Love.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it. But yeah, it's not a lot of privacy. That's the thing I was thinking about the other day, was just the lack of privacy that we have in our lives too. It's like,
right, yeah. They
it's
see
not
all
really healthy.
along.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
Yeah, the government knows everything. I think that's kind of bullshit, because if the government knew everything about you, there would be situations where the government would be responsible to take care of some people if they knew you were going through a hard time, or they knew.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if they knew you're going to be homeless, uh, then yeah, the
Right.
government could just, if it was true that the government knew everything about people, then you would think that either they're just not doing their job, or they really don't know everything about people.
I don't think they know everything. They can.
Right.
It's too many
I think
people.
more likely
They don't have. They have limited resources too.
they have limited resources too. Yeah, because that would be like my local government, like knowing everything about the people that they're taking money from. That's like that puts an awful responsibility on them, that they don't want to work. They don't. That's why they're doing that, is because they're collecting taxes from people in your local government so they can pay themselves, so they don't have to work.
Yeah.
That would be like a job, actually, knowing the person you're stealing taxes from.
A lot of the guys I know that do different things that make money, they don't own any. They don't own anything. They have nothing in their name. And they don't pay taxes. They have pretty lavish lifestyle, and
Yeah.
that's not a bad way to go if you can do it. But I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend just getting a career job and whatever. But
yeah, I'm just gonna send a bill out to all my neighbors, like all 200,000 people in this county, and like this is the Joe tax. It's $15, and I want $15 from each one of you, and that'll give me enough money to live a lavish lifestyle like a government worker.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, there's government people. They got, oh man. But there's some good guys in government, that they're not all bad. It's just a few. It's just the whole institution itself is.
Yeah. Well, there should be layoffs and downsizing and stuff like that during.
Yeah, there's not. They don't have that. So it's like I was joking to my barber the other day. It's like, when I was graduated college, I went to go work for a big company, and because I was really ambitious and wanted to make money and blah blah blah. And a lot of my friends that were not as ambitious, I would say, that's a good word to use, because they just wanted the take the easy way, and they ended up working for the government and state government, right? And now there's smart guys and everything, but they just weren't as ambitious. They're not as confident and whatever. So flash forward 20, 30 years later, I've been downsized 6 times, and they never got downsized. They got all these benefits accumulated. They got a nice retirement package. It's just really, really weird how, and I had all these stretches where I go a year without work, and I was downsized, and then I got interview circuit is really not a lot of fun, because you're dealing with all these a-hole people interviewing you, and they put you through a lot of stress, and they had the same job for the last 25 years. And so they ended up financially probably better positioned than me. And I was the ambitious one.
Right. Yeah. It's it's
insane.
I wish I would have seen that and stayed in government work when I was,
right
for the government, but
it
just didn't seem honest to me. And in my case, there was, contractual work for the government doesn't pay well. You're not going to get the contract's end.
Yeah, it's like the people working for the government are the smart ones. They kind of recognize how good they have it, because a lot of it too is lighter. Like he says, it is lighter than their work. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
I mean they'll do one project. Yeah, in the business world, you're assigned a project that, say, you're expected to finish it in an hour. Like that same project in the government, like you're expected to finish it in a day.
Yeah, that's where they become self-serving to themselves, and then you're just paying taxes to keep them. It's like you're paying them taxes so they can, not do nothing, and then they'll say that, okay, well, we're collecting the taxes, that's our job, and so that's really absurd. That, okay, you're just collecting taxes to pay yourself.
Yeah.
And these bullshit jobs.
But yeah. I'll go ahead, sir.
A book I've been reading lately is just that name. It goes by Bullshit Jobs. If you get a chance to read it on audiobook or something, or go through it on audiobook, it gives you my idea of there's a lot of bullshit jobs in this country, and made up jobs, lighter than air jobs, and we really don't need them. What we need to do is a living wage for everybody. And Bernie Sanders is right about that. I mean, don't disguise it under bullshit jobs, because it just makes it worse for the people that are really trying.
Yeah. Well, like I appreciate, like, when I like going to I'm gonna have to get a new license, going to the DMV, and I do see it. They are under a lot of stress, and they work really hard. These people, like, they really do. I mean, they, but a lot of times those jobs are created just like you don't. It's necessary to always have to get a new license, or it's just the whole system is whacked out.
Yeah,
but
you couldn't give me a license for 10 years.
right, exactly. It's right, exactly. Stuff like that. But you see the actual work that they do, and there are
the people that are the slaves in the front, they're taking the brunt of the work, and then there's a whole system behind that we don't see. There's probably, if you see 5 people working out front, you can imagine there's probably a dozen people in the back with lighter than air jobs.
Yeah. Well,
just trying to make their life miserable on them, and
even like public school teaching, like you get these teachers that, I mean, they're handing out the same lesson plans they were doing 20 years ago. It's like you haven't evolved. They haven't even, and they're not even giving out accurate information about history a lot of times.
Right, they're not called to do the job the best they can, and
they're not encouraged to teach.
Right, and then there's administration, and that's everybody. I think everybody in Mgtow bitches about the sort of crossover between government administration and colleges, and there's too much administration, and these courses, you could do the computer thing too in most colleges, and you just walk up to the screen, find out your courses, and you go listen. You go listen to a seminar that or a lecture that's already pre-recorded, and you're getting the same information. And it costs like nothing.
You should see these positions they have in these universities, like major universities, because oh my God, it's hysterical. Like a student, like whatever, diversity student representative, or what the hell's that? You're making $7,500 a year doing what? What the hell are you doing? Like you're not doing anything. Like that's a job where you're actually not doing anything. Like these people at the DMV, for example, they're actually stressed out, and they have deadlines, and they have to see a certain amount of people. But these these major universities, and you should see the salaries of some of these professors. Holy mackerel!
Oh yeah,
$250,000,
the proper
$300,000.
Put the lecture on an ebook or a video, or an ebook, and then you can sell the ebook or the video and then you listen to it, you take the test, and if you need to listen to it over again, and the professor should be independent of the administration, and then if you pass the course, then you get your credit or credits, and that's the way it should be done. The lectures should be easily available, and they should do it like this, right? You can do it on a video and audio. You can do it on audio if you want. I'd rather listen to video lectures on audio. Like I said, last year I listened to over 200 lectures, and it's they all cost me a little, and it's like, okay, I learned a lot, and it was much more comfortable than the whole, $20,000 college, thing.
Yeah. They're just all like kind of mimicking the professor. They don't like. Oh, God forbid you actually have a thought that's against the professor.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see a lot of that. Like
Yeah, I think the pre-recorded lectures are better because they actually put thought into what they're saying. It causes you to be. It causes the professor or the person speaking to be more articulate because he's self-aware that everybody's going to listen to this, and it can be criticized then.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it is these students in colleges now. They're looking for the grade. Like it's not about knowing having. There's like a lack of integrity. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
There's like a lack of integrity with the learning. It's not. It's just about I just have to say what the professor. I remember when my freshman year of college, and I was a couple frats.
Yeah, you just have to say what he says, and that's just
yeah,
memory.
yeah. Like they. So I remember when I was 18, I was I went to college with some frats, and one of the frat leaders came up to me and he's a good guy, and he was from my same region where I grew up in, and he goes, okay, who are your professors? Like I gave him the name. He goes, okay, well, listen, most of these professors, like he was telling me what to write, and if you get an essay, this is how you write it this way, and with this slant of ideology, and like he was like going through the whole. I'm like. That was like kind of a red pill moment for me. It's like, what the hell am I doing here in this college? And I was like a dean's list student, pretty much, right? And my first few years, and I slacked off a little bit towards the end. But I went the opposite. I had better grades when I started than when I ended. But like the whole thing is like, it's like the whole point is to kind of sometimes challenge ideas, but you're not. See, he was telling me to just do what the professor was saying just to get a good grade, and I'm like, so I kind of knew. It was like a red pill moment because it was like, okay, there's like a certain truth that wow, this is a bunch of bullshit. This whole experience.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole event where you have people challenging the ideas, and there's a critique, and you keep an honorable system of critique, and that produces a better product, and it produces more truthful learning.
Right, but they don't want that. They don't want that because they want to. No,
this is how we think about this. Well,
right, right.
Change.
I had a professor say that at a major university, like recently, like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
not the one I'm attending now. I'm not going to criticize it. You see that? Yeah, I'm doing it now, right? The school I'm attending now, I don't even want to criticize, right? Yeah. I'm doing it right now. I have a with the old school I went to, like with the professor, I don't really want to hear about your personal opinion on this.
Yeah,
he actually said that in a lecture.
Okay.
I don't want to hear about your personal opinion on this, and I want to hear about what the writer of the article said, or something like that. And I'm like saying to myself, that's fucking ridiculous, man. It's like, you know what? You're sitting there with your cozy 150 to 300. These professors are making big money too. They're making $100 to 100 to like 500,000 some of them a year, right? So the average salary is probably about $1.25, $1.50 for each college professor if you're at a good major university.
Yeah, I think the opportunity for the better professors, the ones that are more insightful and have better to sell their courses online and just do lectures, and you take the lectures in a situation like this, he just pre-records everything, and he does a good job doing how he thinks about the world and everything and whatever he thinks, and that would be a more honest way. And then you could, if you did see something wrong, I'm sure he'd be open for criticism. Just got, even what was his name? Rawls. After teaching 35 years at Harvard, he was still open to be criticized, and he left it open. His theory on what is that? His theories on social things, and he that's more honest. It's
but now, I don't see a lot of that, and I don't see a lot of that. More because they don't want to lose their jobs. I mean, I don't blame them. It's self-preservation. They don't want to lose their jobs.
Self-preservation,
but there's no lack of integrity there, and I don't know, that shit bothers me.
Yeah. So we hear the argument all the time from the MRAs about the way colleges are run and stuff, and I agree with a lot of it, and some of it I don't agree with. It's like, it's not worth arguing. But
no, it's not. There's just a lack of integrity. I think if I were to say the one thing that bothers me most about this world is just a lack of integrity.
Lack of integrity and honesty.
Yeah, there's a lack of integrity. Everyone's kind of faking it and just to get by.
No honor and
no honor. Lack of critical thinking skills is up there too. But I would say the lack of integrity in general. And then, if you call them out on their bullshit, they're gonna retaliate, and you're gonna suffer consequences. So a lot of times people say, "Hell, I'm not gonna."
Right, it becomes an authoritarian. They get authoritarian position on that, and it's like, you're not wrong. We're just
Yeah.
saying you're not allowed to say that. And no, not in America,
Yeah.
I'm allowed to say what I want to say.
Right. It's like I used to go to these corporate meetings, and all these yahoos in leadership. They were, most of them are alcoholics. I mean, so
Yeah.
we have an open bar. We got an open bar after work. Why don't you come down? And like, I really didn't want to do that. That's why I never got into management, man. Because like, oh, screw these guys. I don't want to be a part of your stupid fucking club. Like I'm better at my job than you are. like, so I don't even like. What do you got? I don't want to mingle with you people. But again, fast forward all these years later, and they're the guys that are, making more money and whatever. And not that they do everything, but they just, they just have this. To me, that's a lack of integrity. It's like, well, it's like I feel like an outsider sometimes because I'm not like kissing their ass.
Right. With the way things work now, too, is like the freedom of speech. And we had this argument the other day with my friend. It wasn't an argument. I was just enlightening him about something. He says, you can say anything you want, and he took that but there will be consequences for it. And I says,
Right.
when does and that's the new line that they give now about freedom of speech.
Right.
I can say anything you want, but there'll be what you're saying. There's consequences are just you will be punished for saying what you want. That's against the First Amendment, and,
Right.
and we're talking about like free will and stuff like that. And I says it's okay to say the consequences for saying something saying what you want is someone saying that you're wrong, and that's not much consequences. That's it's like, but as soon as you take it to action, that's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
There should be no action involved with saying somebody's wrong about something.
Right. It's like who's the sensitive one?
Yeah, who's the sensitive? You're taking it to an action, really? This is an actionable thing where, like your professor was saying, you'll just do what I say, and you're arguing, you're critiquing it, and you're saying, no, I don't think I believe that totally. And he's saying, well, there'll be consequences for that.
Right. I don't want to hear. And imagine it saying that in class.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah. It's like, no, there should be no consequences for my speech.
Right.
Besides you saying I'm wrong, and you can say I'm wrong all day, and I'm saying you're wrong. That's the only consequences to it.
Well, and it's like I remember. I don't know if you know a guy named A.W. Tozer. He was like this Christian, guy that and he's just a real goofball. Like he gave a talk. He passed away decades ago, but he was talking about how one of his teachers was disrespected. This Christian theologian was disrespected. I sat there and I was shocked that he was disrespected, and and it's like why? Because the guy didn't agree with your stupid Christian bullshit, like the story. Yeah. It's like what? So he feels disrespected. Yeah, you feel disrespected.
Yeah, their God is going to punish.
Right. A.W. Tozer, freaking goofball. Yeah.
But that's the idea of things become actionable. They put things in action. My idea about the Illuminati is when they put things in action and you get denied jobs, you get, this guy doesn't think like us. He's not part of our group. You get ostracized. Them are all actions that are you can't defend. And it's force is what it is. And it's like, oh, well, that's not America I grew up in. America I grew up in is if I had a complaint or a disagreement, I just said it. And if you prove me wrong, then I'm just wrong.
I had a fantasy football team. I called them Kill the Illuminati or something, right? And my buddy's like, I don't know if you should write that on there. He's like, yeah, it was just funny. It's like, come on, man. It's like,
it's just funny.
Really believe in that stuff. It's like, are you serious?
It's just
stupid. It's like these people.
Such thing as the Illuminati. You're not really saying.
Right. It's like Mr. Pickles. Like people think Mr. Pickles might exist, right?
Yeah. So there's somebody out there that might think that.
Yeah, there's people that's again, it goes to that fantasy. It all ties into the stuff you say about fantasy fiction. It's really
fiction. They're living in a fantasy world, and some of their fantasy fiction worlds are very authoritarian worlds.
Yeah, they're just playing like and the whole thing about good and evil, which that's kind of that's obviously subjective, right? Like what's good and what's evil.
Yeah,
Like, they
what's
would call us
evil is,
evil
the
making fun of
chains of
Christianity.
morality go to different lengths for everybody.
Right. Like, they would say that we're being evil because we're making fun of Christianity, but I just think they're idiots for not
Right, and their
exploring.
hypocrisy is just overwhelming. Like I say about the female polygamy, and it's like, oh, the chains of morality extend real far for them, don't they? Because
Yeah,
the simps and the white knights want their girls to be open to them.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Double standard, whatever you want to
It's
call it. I
double
don't know. I'm just
standard.
annoyed by the whole thing. Yeah, I'm just annoyed by the whole thing. I just avoid. I'm at the point now. Even like those 20 miles and fake ID things I used to do, I'm just pretty much done. I mean,
Yeah.
the last experience I had with the 20 miles and the 200 miles and the fake ID was I got punched in the chest by this massage therapist. Because she couldn't understand English.
Yeah.
Which that's been my move. Just find someone who doesn't speak English, and that's my 200 miles in fake ID move. And I got punched in the chest because she didn't understand me. And it didn't hurt me, but I just kind of laughed. And it's because as a Mgtow, I know this is how women are.
Yeah.
Like she didn't even care that she punched me as hard as she could in my chest. Right? I just kind of laughed, right? But here it is. It's like I don't even want to even bother with a short term situation like that anymore, right? Because it's just not even worth it. It's like, forget it. I mean, what happened? It's like, it's just bad. It's just all bad.
You gotta be aware of risk, and
Yeah, and so I was in a part of the country I don't live in, so I thought it was a safe situation and a short term thing and fake ID, whatever. But even then, it's like I even that less than 0.0001%, there's still a chance when you're around a woman or engaged with a woman that something bad's going to happen. It doesn't there's no foolproof system. The only foolproof system is just don't be around them, physically, or even whatever, even through a conversation.
Right, total abstinence is probably the safest way.
Right, the default position, asexuality. That is very true.
Is the safest way. I know guys lean back into that bar over to the other side, but I'm just saying, the monks and asexuality and abstinence is the safest way. And it's
it's absolutely the safest way. That's the best form of harm reduction. So it's actually the most evolved philosophy, I think, and and then
it's that you can give a strong argument to that. You can't give a strong argument to something's gray.
Right. Like my father said, just close the door, lock the door, and take a hot shower, and then right, and then you're practicing harm reduction. You're saving money. You're building a better future for yourself. Your quality of life is actually a lot higher. You're bad female hormones. You're winning in so many different ways. Where, it's a 0.0001% chance.
Still a chance.
There's still a chance. Yeah, there's still a chance. So I honestly don't even like that idea of 200. I mean, I know that that's an out. Like, okay, you need an out maybe, but a better out again would be shutting the door and taking a hot shower. So that's like the best out, right? That's like the best out.
I only say that because I have to give in a little to other people's.
Right. No, I understand. I'm not trying to put you on the spot there, but I'm presenting the other side of
that's the little bit.
I got punched in the chest, man. It's like, what? I don't even know this freaking BI whatever. Juliet Lewis version of a Chinese woman. I don't even know. She thought we were in a scene in Natural Born Killers where she's going to beat up a bunch of guys and whatever, right? And so anyway, that scene really pisses me off with Juliette Lewis in that movie. I keep bringing it up, but it was like kind of one of those shocking types. Well, woman's beating up a guy in a movie. Anyway, but anyway, so the whole idea is so this chick is like not even, why would you punch somebody you don't even know? It's like, because you can't communicate with them.
Some people's minds.
Yeah, but just women are just like women. I see women now just like they're like these sticks of dynamite, like walking around, and you just don't know when they're gonna go off.
Yeah, they're. What was that cartoon about that little girl, the teenage girl that used to just explode?
Oh, okay, okay. I don't
Katie
know.
could,
But I know Lucy, and like Lucy was an a-hole.
yeah,
I mean, you move the kid moving the football. Like, no, she's a jerk.
right. Oh yeah, Lucy was a jerk, and
She was
yeah,
a jerk for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was Animaniacs, Katie Kaboom.
Oh,
She,
okay. So she did. She go off on people. I see women do that a lot today. Like this woman in the parking lot, she's talking on the phone, and this is something I would have never seen, or well, I didn't at least wouldn't think would have existed. She's like talking like a freaking like a drunken sailor or whatever on the. It's not fair to sailors, but you know what I mean. Like she was like talking like she was drunk. She wasn't drunk. Getting in the car, but she's like cursing. It's like wow. This is what it's come to.
right, yeah. My buddy, he's like 74 now, but he understands the Karen concept. He's like when he's driving, he's like, "Oh, Karen's across the I'll just let her go first because she'll run me right over."
Yeah. Well, did you tell me the story about the one lady that tried to run you over? Was it you?
Oh yeah, when I was
Oh
considering
yeah.
stop and driving and everything, the thing that put me over the edge on driving, I was considering the all the how I am. I consider everything, the impact of being human and the green impact, and I'm getting tickets all the time because I'm a workman and I have a van, and and then I'm pulling out of this, and the woman just gunned her car towards me, and it was in the truck parking spot where my van was. I'm allowed to back up. The rules in most states is workmen and vans have to back up, and you're given an allowance for that, and you just back up, and then my backup alarm was going, and she's just looking right at me. Just she was going to run right into me, and then that's when I stopped driving. I was like, "That's she was just looking for a lawsuit." And then I seen her go by, and I looked in the mirror, and she had a big fucking shitting grin on her face. Like, oh man, women are horrible, and that's why
Yeah.
I stopped driving. And I seen one going up the street, and she's putting on her makeup or something. She's got 5 dogs in the car, and they're all hanging all over while she's driving and she's
Mhm.
swerving all over. And I'm like, Jesus, this is just dangerous anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that a lot too. Like especially younger. I see like younger women or
Yeah, yeah, they're driving.
teenage girls driving. Yeah, early 20. Like this girl today, like just tailgating me, and I just want to see who it was. I wasn't gonna.
I
I'm
get
not
that
gonna.
all the time with my bike. The young
Yeah.
females don't think I have a right to be on the road. It's like, it's,
Yeah, they don't respect that. That's a lack of intelligence, right? Like you don't understand bikers, and I mean, you're biking. You're riding your bike.
yeah, the cyclists. They don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
old
yeah,
people and young people really. It's like they're just bizarre about the way they think. Like I know I have the right to my own lane,
yeah.
and
Yeah. It's a
but
lack of experience,
they
intelligence.
don't think that you have a right, and they come by
Yeah.
and they come too close to you, or they yell something out like, "Get off the road." That's like, you're fucking ignorant. And
Well, what was that lady that we were talking about the other when chatting about the 1792 book or about the woman who the reason why women act the way they do is because of lack of education. What was that? What was her name again? Mary something.
oh, Mary Wollstonecraft, yeah, 710. That's
Yeah, yeah,
Mary. She wrote Mary, and it's fantasy fiction. She took, and then the people in the Congress, the English Congress or whatever they had back there, were like interested in her story about, and it was all made up. It was fantasy fiction.
yeah. And then she has these statues of herself in London, or what? It actually
Right.
is London. I'm not trying to make fun of London.
Yeah, and
There's lots
that's most feminist stories are made up on some kind of fantasy fiction
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
built on it, and the
Right.
narrative is built on a fantasy fiction, and you're supposed to just trust that. So you can see how our system of religion kind of plays into that. The feminist narrative is a fantasy fiction narrative, so religion plays right into it for them, and it's all he has for women. It's like why they're so irresponsible.
Yeah, and as that thought was interesting why she had to even write those books, obviously to defend women. If they had same honor as men, and they you wouldn't need to write that book. You know what I mean?
Right, like you said yesterday, her theological theory was men are considered rational, and women aren't.
Right.
And yeah, because we are rational, and women are intuitional and they're emotional.
Right. And most men that get out of line are dealt with, and but right now, I think in the society we have, at least in America, is like those men are not being dealt with as much because it's almost like they're protected to it's like they're protected by society more, right? These I don't know if you want to call them effeminate, but these men that don't have honor, like they're more
right. Yeah, that you just make up a story and go along with your narrative, and everybody's got to.
yeah.
That's the same thing. It all goes back to that. You have to trust me, and I'll get mad at you if you don't.
Right. Because I had a couple of guys I was, I ended up leaving this job, and they were just they had no honor. They were just liars, and I called them out on it. And I ended up leaving the company. I didn't get fired, but I left the company, and I wasn't going to take any of their shit. And I wrote like anyway, I handled it my way, and I had it on. I just wanted them to know why I was leaving.
Yeah.
I just wanted them to know, and I documented all this stuff before I left, and I just sent it in. I don't think they even care, but it just made those guys look really bad, and it was just the truth. I just told the truth. I didn't have any intention of getting anyone in trouble, but they just spread a bunch of lies about me. So I just wanted to set this record straight before I left, and it probably embarrassed the hell out of them, but it was all truth. And yeah, it is what it is, And
That's what it is, yeah.
But being those men, I think they probably learned, even though they would never admit it. I think they probably learned a lesson, not to be such liars next time.
Right, there's lessons involved with them things.
Yeah, a man might learn a lesson from that and say, he was right, and we shouldn't have treated him that way, and we're not going to lie anymore. But a woman wouldn't really give a shit.
That's putting a lot on people. People are assholes.
Yeah, I try to be good to people, and it's like, sometimes they just do stuff.
Giving them a lot of credit for,
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, we've gone on about 2 hours now, and I'm beginning to feel tired, and I think we thoroughly covered the simp problem.
Yeah, just say no. I think that's a good. I'll just close it. My own thoughts would be like, if you're not sure about a friend or if they're a simp or not a friend, then the best plan is usually just say no and don't bother. And I would also add, if you don't consider yourself a strong Mgtow, then you definitely should not be around simps. The only people that should ever consider being around simps is like guys like us. We, you and me have probably close to. Well, you got longer than me, but I got probably close to a good maybe at least 5 to 10 years, maybe probably longer than that. Well, and I think I've probably been a Mgtow even by default longer than that, closer to 20, 25 years. So, but the last 5 to 10 have been really stronger. So. But even then, I'm still careful. So, I would say if you're still Mgtow light, and you guys know who you're out there, you guys know yourselves, Mgtow lighters, I would say just stay away from simps entirely. So, that's my final thought.
Okay, well, I want to say thanks for everybody coming around. It was kind of a small outing today, but thanks for everybody coming around, and anybody that watches in the future, thanks for watching, and most of all, just thanks for being Mgtow.